So it'll be either Regen or Gaia, the winner of this match, and Andy's Daycare, which will be the only teams who have managed to make it all the way undefeated to the Overwatch All-Star Brawl, and they will be facing off against each other. But first, we have to get there.
Yes, we do. But before we get even there, let's remind everybody, hey, we have an MVP poll going on just down below in the About section of the channel. So as we are going throughout tonight, these two undefeated teams are really button heads. If you have a standout player that you would like me and Spooky to interview, then make sure to vote for them down in the MVP poll, because whichever player has the most votes, then they're going to step into the booth with us at the end, and we're going to ask them a couple of good questions.
Absolutely. Does not matter if the team wins, if the team loses. Either way, they get pulled into the booth with us, and we'll be very excited to speak with them.
Absolutely. But also, too, let's remind everybody, if you want to stay up to date with the All-Star Brawl, especially as we get into some of these later stages, because this is when things get a little spicy, they're going to want to make sure to follow the channel down below. Also, too, we're on Twitter as well as YouTube, so look for all those links down below and make sure to follow us at all of those different spots. But, Spooky, Regen, up against Gaia, what can you tell us about this matchup?
I am super excited to see what's going on. We've seen a lot of talented teams come through Overwatch All-Stars Brawl, so just the fact that these two teams are undefeated, have managed to make it this far, really says more to their style of play and their skill levels than I ever could. I'm certainly excited. Teams that have been around Tier 3 for quite a while, a lot of players that have that strong scrim experience, and it is no surprise to me that these guys are this far in the main bracket. And it's nice, like we said, we've been in the gutter lately. We've been in the losers bracket. We've been doing elimination matches. It's nice to be able to cast two teams that, regardless of what happens, they're not completely out yet. It's been a bummer, like, casting, especially like Shikigami versus Solstice yesterday, like two super talented teams, but one of them had to go home. Mm-hmm. This is all fun and games. This is easy peasy. It's just... whatever happens, all of these players will continue in Overwatch All-Star Brawl, so it'll be great to continue to see them play, pop off, and just get some really high-caliber Overwatch out of these guys.
Well, let's not just say that this is just going to be a low-stakes match by any means, because once again, both of these teams are undefeated, and I think both of these teams want to keep it that way. So even though they are still going to be around in the All-Star Tournament, one of these teams is going to be losing and picking up that first L. I almost said W, but they've got plenty of W's as of right now. So a little bit of pride at stake here between these two teams. And we're going to be getting ready to load into King's Row here for our very first map. And Spooky, what can you tell us about King's Row?
King's Row is Rush, Marks.
Yay!
It's pretty straightforward. It takes a lot of work to make another a comp that isn't Reinhardt Lucio based. Mm-hmm. To make it work on King's Row, it's just how the corners are played, it's just like a straightforward line all the way through. But there are a lot of very strong corners to hold with a Reinhardt, and the best way to break a Reinhardt hold is with another Reinhardt. So there's not a lot of high ground, so dive comps are a little bit hard to play. They're doable, especially maybe if you're running the ball. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if we just see the kind of classic Rush comps coming out. Mei, the Cowboy on hit scan, then... Yep. Ryan and Lucio.
Yeah, honestly, we've been casting Overwatch for quite some time now, and the Rush is definitely favored on King's Row. The Reinhardt just gets so much value coming in there, swinging his hammer, and honestly, it's always fun to watch two Rush comp teams just get into the brawl. I mean, we're in the All-Star Brawl right now, so, it almost seems like it's coming of, what do you call it? It's prophesizing what could potentially happen here. Okay, hey, words are hard, am I right?
And it's fun to see, Overwatch All-Star Brawl has a different set of tournament rules than your standard Overwatch tournament, that starts with control and goes through predetermined match types. That is not how the brawl works. The losing team gets to pick a map after the higher seeded team bans one, but otherwise all game types are open. And that's why we're starting on King's Row today instead of Control. I think a few other teams might have been a little bit too much in that mindset. We have to start in Control.
It's always Control.
Then, move to something else. But it's fun to see King's Row to start off with.
Absolutely. Like you said, teams have, or at least in the games that we've casted, we've always started out on Control. But the way that this goes, we could potentially avoid Control all night, which might be kind of a good thing, because if one team establishes a little bit of dominance in this hybrid style, then it's possible that they might be able to use, we can understand how they are going to play, and they might be using that momentum in order to take over just the normal escort type maps, because honestly, once you capture that first control point, it's an escort map.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if a team is more comfortable on the hybrid maps, if they really like playing Rush, for instance, you know, they start with King's Row. Presumably you win, so your enemy gets to pick whatever, 2 CP, control, escort, what have you. And then if you lose that match, you're comfortable in knowing that you can go back to another hybrid map, like Eichenwald, for example, you know, and try and force out the Rush comps again. So definitely, it's a different way to think about the game and think about how it is played, a bit more on the strategic side. So, but with these teams so far in, it kind of shows that they have been thinking about that. So not surprising to me at all that we are starting on King's Row here.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did have a little bit of a tech issue going on there, but everyone's reconnected. So these teams are going to be loading in here. And, well, we're going to be starting out with Regen on defense. And just like you predicted, Spooky, looks like they want to be bringing the rush to King's Row.
Yeah, and they do run the Mei. It's classic, but we have seen Mei be dropped from the comp sometimes during a couple of the other matches, a couple of the other Rush compositions. I don't like it at all. I really do think you should run the Mei here. With so much flat ground, I think the ice walls are a lot more effective. They're very good for both providing cover for your team and isolating a target. It's just such a strong pick, and I think it's almost essential to the Rush comp at this point. So definitely enjoy seeing Ski Coops lock in that hero.
Yeah, well, it's going to be important to make sure that the isolation comes through. Meanwhile, Gaia opting for more of a fast-paced divey comp with AJ the Ghost on that ball. We've also got a Tracer and an Echo coming in here.
Yeah, it is the Zen dive comp with the ball. It's a lot of single target pressure if the ball and Tracer get to land on someone with a Discord orb. And then you always have to watch out. Monica should get a lot of free space because only a Keeve on the hit scan can really do much to stop her. Green can eat up some of the bombs and stuff, but not really doing too much damage. But Regen seem like they're finding a way in here. They've isolated the break.
Yep, and today's just going to swing that hammer and crack Catarix's head open. As that's the first pick, and you don't want to lose that Brig there. Brig is so good at denying that. Meanwhile, the rest of the team all scattered around, but Regen playing it nice and close. Excellent, did find a Keeve, which should potentially give them more momentum. Okay, Monica's coming through here, is able to get the pick onto Pink, and now without the heals, it looks like Regen are going to be having to back off here. Without that instrumental health, it's going to be very difficult. Today, falling extremely low. That's going to be Monica getting the pick there. Monica has done a great job of zoning them out, and Gaia are going to be sitting nice and comfortable with that first point capture.
Yeah, a lot of direct damage coming through, and I think part of that was excellent being able to get onto the high ground on that Zenyatta. Gaia lost all of their healing when Catatrix died, but it didn't seem like they really needed it. They just really went in on the dive. They kept pushing strong and was able to put on that single target pressure, take out a Keeve first, and then I believe it was Pink as well. And once the Baptiste is down, once Rush loses their healing, they're way less functional than this dive comp would be.
Oh yeah, when one card falls out of place, the entire tower comes tumbling down sometimes to this Rush composition. Especially because everyone's playing so close, but Amplification Matrix online for Pink. I would expect they would use it to engage here. But it looks like they're actually just going to be going dry in. That's going to be the mines coming in. Today's got also that Discord orb on top. Has to be extremely careful. Receiving a lot of pressure here. Opting to back off. Meanwhile, we're seeing a Green get demeched. So many people are around. We're going to be seeing now Sound Barrier committed in as well. Regen, they still want to be taking this fight. It's going to be met with the Transcendence and actually a duplicate. Monica trying to get the Earth Shatter in, but stopped by Today on that shield. The Blizzard is also good in really slowing down the rest of Gaia. The picks are still coming through, though. This is still scavengeable. Right now, AJ as well as Haven have just been working so well together, and ultimately, it's that teamwork that's just going to allow Gaia to keep moving forwards.
Yeah, it feels like the Rush comp has a little bit of trouble actually getting in. Gaia's been very, very good about harassing them on their entrances, just putting down the damage. The mines in the last fight just really split them up, and that's what left Green out to dry and demect. So let's see if Regen can actually get a hold here on the end of point B. It's a very good place to re-solidify your defense.
Yes, the Amplification Matrix comes up. It's a great corner to play around. That's just going to call for Gaia to back off. Right now, they're waiting for their chance to strike. AJ and Haven On the flank, they're getting ready to go. Now is going to be the time to engage. We see the dive come down, but Ski Coops already has 2 picks. This might be all but over for Gaia. It doesn't matter. They still want to be punishing all the rest of these players. We've seen the rally come in from Catatrix as well, and suddenly this is looking like they should be able to win out this point. They're only a little bit away, only 3 heroes remaining. AJ already has the mines back online. Meanwhile, Haven right beside him with that pulse bomb as well. Just going to keep keeping that one in the pocket, throwing it on Today. Today's able to spin around, but I think AJ is just getting too much value on this Wrecking Ball right now. And right now, Regen do not have an answer for this.
Yeah, very well played by Gaia. They were backing away from that fight before the Amplification Matrix even came out. And it shows that they understand what their comp does. It's looking for opportunities. You can't meet the rush in the head-to-head confrontation. Instead, they scattered out a bit. They had Haven go behind on the Tracer. And it was just a little bit of stalling out, as well as flanking maneuvers, poke damage, and eventually you were able to find a couple of targets, especially with that bomb coming out from Fiddle that took out the Reinhardt.
Okay, interesting Earth Shatter there from Today. Unfortunately, doesn't find anybody. I think he was expecting people to pop their head out. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, but now we're getting a duplicate in. That's going to be another Diva coming in from Monica. Going to be frozen up, but already has that self-destruct, and well, we're just going to throw that one in the back line. The picks are coming through for Gaia, though, so they're feeling nice and comfortable. They still have a huge time bank, and right now, Regen, well, they're still respawning into this fight. This is going to be their last opportunity to try and stall this out for 3 whole minutes. With rally coming in from Catatrix, that means that they are still looking to engage. It's gonna be a huge Transcendence coming in from Excellent, keeping everybody healthy throughout the icy storm that was unleashed. But now a sound barrier coming online for Regen, and Today is just chasing down Excellent, wants to take that Zenyatta out of the fight.
Yeah, and Regen managed to take that, and that's not surprising to me at all. Right backed into this corner like this when the spawn room's so close, and Gaia have to push forward to keep card pressure. The rush comp is significantly better. It really is just an advantage to them. But now that Gaia don't have to stay on the point and Regen have a stronger forward hold, they just need to get the picks now. It doesn't matter as much about the cart, so let's see if they can actually get in, if they can find the opportunity to do so. There aren't as many ways to flank around for Haven and AJ to actually get in, so this could be a strong place for Regen to start their hold.
Absolutely, and now Today, he's got that Earth Shatter back online. Not a lot of shields here, so he should have a pretty easy target, as long as he can get the team all put together. Right now, how Gaia are playing this is all over the place. The Earth Shatter does come down. Fortunately, doesn't find anybody. Meanwhile, the backline is under fire. Under an explosion, actually. That's going to be Fiddle doing so much work. And now this is going to be Gaia just running things in. AJ the Ghost has just been absolutely clutching this up and now chasing McCree down in the backline. And with that falling down, well, it's looking like it's all but over for Regen. We're seeing the stall come in. Green trying to do something, but that's going to be round number 1 completed. Spooky Gaia looking extremely good so far.
Yeah, and that is tough for Regen. Regen had 2 very strong points to hold. It's the end of point B, which is a little harder because there are ways that Haven AJ can get in on flanks, kind of harass your backline. But they also have right at the end of point C at spawn. Both of those holds were completely dismantled by a bomb from Fiddle.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure how Fiddle's bombs are able to get so much value against a rush comp, which generally should be able to play closer together. The Mei has invulnerability, you have the Rhine shield, but I'm not sure if it's Fiddle just placing them expertly, or maybe Regen slipping a little bit and maybe not realizing their positioning, maybe being a little frazzled by the comp coming at them. But there is no way that Fiddle should be able to get that kind of value because, like I was saying, it was a very strong defensive positioning for Regen, and it completely falls apart by a solo Diva Bomb. Literally just throwing a Diva Bomb in, which you almost never see actually get value because there's so much time to respond to it. Instead, it gets a kill on the Mei and a DMAC, and it gives them the ending point for free, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Usually you see that Diva Remake usually be saved for what do you call it? When you get kicked out of mech, not used as an offensive tool, but right now Gaia, specifically Fiddle, has just been doing a great job of positioning those. But looks like we're going to be getting a little bit of battle cattle coming out from Regen this time, as today is picking the Orisa here. Spooky, how do you feel about this?
It's all right. Especially with the kind of strategy they're going, they're trying to just put a bunch of pressure down from the high ground. Yeah. Let's see if it works out. Ski Coops is already down, but he should be able to rejoin with the team fairly quickly. Now, Zen composition, that's a lot of damage going down. It's kind of hard to hit your shots when everyone's so mobile. You're a giant horse-shaped target if you got a Discord on you. And it's slow. It's very slow. Your shield will not last long against all of this damage coming out from this comp.
Yeah, well, now Regen, they've made their way onto the point, but I'm still looking at AJ and Haven. They've been doing such a great job comboing things together. AJ getting a little bit scared because Ski Coops can get that hack off, disabling all Wrecking Ball mobility. He's barely alive, but now that he's hacked up, all right, this should be the go sign for Regen. And look at that. They're just setting themselves up on the point, have the amplification matrix just for good measure. And this is looking like Regen have been able to dismantle this ball tracer dive.
Yeah, and they do manage to get on point for free. I was talking about how slow this composition was, and that's one of the drawbacks. But it didn't look like that guy was actually able to put enough pressure on that Regen weren't able to set up. And once they set up, they're golden. The problem is getting there, but they were able to do it fairly well because nobody on Gaia can really stand against the Orisa, right? Like, it's a ball, it's a tracer. They do not stand on point and hold it. We're going to see a little bit of respect going to that as Fiddle swaps over to the Sigma. A little bit more frontline pressure against this composition. But, well, let's see if it exactly works out, because you're not going to have a whole lot of support, and there's not a lot of healing on the team either, so you can't really stand toe-to-toe.
Yeah, and now a lot of ultimates coming online for both of these teams. Let's see how this goes. That supercharger could be instrumental from today to win out the fight, but don't forget there's a duplicate on the side of Gaia. Monica getting the diva play. Going to be going in here, building up for a self-destruct, hopefully. Almost gets demeched, but okay, now we're going to be sitting in the self-destruct. Monica just going absolutely deep. We did see the supercharger come down, but it might be a little bit too late. Picks are coming through, so Regen are happy to take this fight, and as they continue to move this cart forwards. Once again, they've got the good positioning, and it seems like it's working out for them. As Monica is taken out of the sky, look at that. Gaia just completely split up now as they move things forward.
Yeah, and the cart's moving the entire time. We're going to see a hack come out from Ski Coops, actually the EMP, just to catch AJ the Ghost. But the cart's still moving, and look how many members of Gaia are actually trying to push from the offensive side to touch the cart. It's just Haven stalling it out here. But there we go. 4 members still alive when the cap comes through. This composition from Gaia, you know, was very good on the offense, but like I was saying, they don't really have... They can't stand and fight against a rush comp, right? In the same way, they can't stand and fight on point. So they really do need to get those picks in if they want to get something done, if they want to stall Regen. But instead, Regen are happy to just stand on point and force Gaia to come to them because they know they can't stay. This has to be a stronger dive, get more damage out, find a target, and dismantle them quickly if Gaia want to win this, or they're gonna be staring down a very large time bank.
Absolutely, and now Haven is on this McCree, potentially to break those shields down, but with AJ the Ghost falling, that's just going to allow for Regen to get even more space here and get their things set up in a better way. Now, we're seeing the rally come in from Eski. They want to take this fight all the way to the end. They want to take the time bank that was set by Gaia and raise them one better. Green getting so much value on this diva right now. The mines have been dropped onto point, but I don't think it's going to be able to do too much good as it's just so many picks coming through. And we're going to be seeing AJ the Ghost explode as Regen have a much superior time bank to Gaia than, honestly, I was expecting based on that first round.
Yeah, it's a very good time bank. It really just felt like Gaia couldn't actually get on point for any length of time. AJ the Ghost was getting bullied by Ski Coop specifically. That Somber pick looked like it was directly there just to punish him a little bit, because every time AJ tried to go in, and I was watching towards the end there, AJ would frequently go in for just kind of a dismantling disruption kind of thing, like rolling through without the rest of his team behind him. And time again, Ski Coops was able to get the hack. They'd all just whip around, destroy the ball, then push forward in the 5v6. And Ball is beyond the Tracer a little bit. Ball's the only member who can stall the point.
Yes. Yes.
So it just kept rolling, Marks.
It really did. And you know, on that first round, we talked about how good AJ as well as Haven were doing that Ball Tracer dive to dismantle the back pieces of the rush composition. And like you said, I do agree. I think Ski Coops was picked just to make sure that they could shut AJ down. And well, without that Wrecking Ball, the Tracer kind of falls apart. And that's why I think we saw the swap onto Haven. So this is going to be Gaia on the attack again. But it looks like they're trying to change things up as they're bringing a new hero lineup to this fight here.
Yeah, the Zarya gives AJ a little bit more defense. It's not quite the double bubble, but it plays similarly. And now Haven and Monica deciding to go more for the long range style. I think this really should punish the front line today in green, because they can't really match it. The shields will go down fast, and once the Discord orb goes up and then Soldier and Hanzo are focusing you, that's game over. And they don't have to get nearly as close as they would have to with the Tracer, for instance. But still, AJ, once again, off on his own on a flank, and he gets caught out. He couldn't even get out into range of Fiddle's bubble. He was just stuck in that little room. Fiddle still has that online and just wasn't able to put it on the main tank. Yeah, so let's see. Gaia do not have a lot of time. They don't really have the luxury of playing this slowly.
Yep. Oh, Ski Coops finding a big pick onto Monica. That's going to slow them down even more. You talk about how important those DPS are to break the shield. And right now, I think AJ just has to play a little bit more careful and give Regen the respect, because every single time he's gone in, it's just kind of ended not too great for him. Now he's going to be going in once again, because this is going to be a fight on the point, as there's only 30 seconds left and no ticks. A little bit of a battle happening on this high ground. Meanwhile, today, and okay, never mind. We're going to be going in on point. The Wrecking Ball is going to be diving in, but immediately gets hacked up and stunned. And while there's nothing AJ can do about that one today, falling extremely low. Haven going to find the pick there. Akiv getting it back on that. But this is going to be an absolute fight here. The EMP comes online from Ski Coops, and that might have just been the round-winning ultimate for Gaia. Sorry, Regen. As, hey, that's going to be a full hold on point number 1. Now, these teams are going to be switching sides. Regen, they have a very healthy time bank here to make something happen. All they need is one single tick, and it's all going to be over. And it looks like right now, Gaia, they haven't found the piece to how to unlock this composition that Regen are bringing to the table. So we saw that they were trying to hard counter some of these picks, specifically the shield, but I don't think the shield is the biggest problem. They might need to just either support AJ the Ghost a little bit more, or change up AJ's role and have the team kind of just go in on the rest of them, because right now how they're playing it is just not going to cut it. And we can see now, Regen, it looks like they're going to be sticking on this Orisa Diva composition. Meanwhile, it looks very similar. We're seeing similar stuff come out from Gaia on this defense. We're seeing AJ on the ball, Fiddle on the Zarya, but we do have Monica on this Pharah, which I'd be very interested to see how this one works out, because, you know, sure, you can throw down your Orisa shield or whatever, but Pharah can dislodge that. And because Pharah can dislodge that, that could really change up how that composition works. And honestly, push people out of place to allow AJ and Haven to get as much value as possible here. So, let's see how this goes. The gates are going to be open. Regen, 3 minutes and 40 seconds to only get a single pick here. Let's see how this goes. They're already noticing that Monica is going to be up in the sky and causing a bit of problems. Ski Coops looking around, trying to dance around these rockets, but that's going to be pretty hard. There's too much splash damage coming out of those things. Meanwhile, AJ going in there, immediately getting stunned up. Not hacked, though, so able to get out of the way. It's going to be absolutely huge for him to just stay alive. And, well, Regen, they're considering rotating around the high ground. They want to take a little bit of a positional advantage. We saw what they did when they split up Gaia, and it looks like they want to be trying to pull something like that again. As we see today setting up on that bunker composition, they're going to be trying to hold it, but once again, like I said, Monica, with that dislodging, rocket blast, is going to be able to take them out of that high ground. But slowly and steadily. Today is getting close, and with the amplification matrix coming down, there's nothing AJ can't do. He gets stunned up once, and well, that's going to be the end of him. And now we're seeing Regen move on to point. Somebody has to come on here to contest, and it will be Haven, but it's Haven alone. What can Haven do? Haven gets hacked up, and that's going to be taken out. Monica using the barrage, but it is all for naught, as that is going to be Regen taking map number 1 against Gaia. Wow. I gotta be honest here. They figured out how to beat this composition that honestly rolled them on that first round, and it is working out well for them. They look absolutely fantastic running this. And sure, you know, one could say that the synergy isn't completely there, but hey, right now, Gaia, they really don't have an answer for this. And so Regen are gonna be winning things out. Great first match onto King's Row. All right. So let's see how these teams are going to be going. I am curious to see whether or not they want to stick on this composition. I think that was an interesting pick coming out of Gaia, not opting to play the rush and going for more of that tracer ball dive. To me, that kind of screams that's comfort picks, and especially too on a map like King's Row where some of that stuff doesn't get as much value out of it. Well, you know what? They get to pick the map next. So they could pick a map where that tracer ball is going to do a lot more impact. But they really need to keep ski coops in their eyes. Or sorry, not in their eyes. They have to keep them on their mind. Because those hacks have been so instrumental in dismantling Gaia's attack. So let's see how we go. If you saw any standout performances there, I definitely did. Then make sure to head down below to see what these, or to vote, on the MVP for the match. And they're going to be joining us in the booth at the end for a little post-match interview. Right now, fortunately, Spooky is having some technical issues once again. So you guys are going to be stuck with me just for a little bit. Don't worry. He should be getting things sorted out. So it shouldn't be too big of a problem. We are going to be seeing which map guy I want to pick here, but I have to imagine, you know, we know that they won't be able to pick a hybrid map. I don't know if Escort is going to be what they want to play, because seeing Regen on that Escort, once again, like Spooky mentioned, Regen's composition was tough until they got themselves onto point or onto the cart. You know, we talk about the dive, dismantling little pieces in the back. Staying on point, especially too on an Escort map, if Regen runs that Orisa composition once again, I think they're going to do fantastic on it, and Gaia really have to change up their battle strategy if that is what they pick. So, I'm curious to see what Gaia are going to be picking here, but I wouldn't be too surprised if we did see a control map coming out potentially. That does favor the dive a little bit, because if you can capture the point and then just get into the enemy's team's face, get a couple of picks, stall it out, then you could be looking really good. But we do know that Regen does like playing Rush. They were comfortable enough to bring it out on King's Row, which means that they might be alright with that pick anyways. Regardless, Gaia did seem like they were able to counter Regen's Rush composition pretty well. So, you know what? I don't even know what to expect here, honestly. It's going to be heavily based around what Gaia decide to pick for their second map. But regardless to say, this has been an incredibly exciting match of Overwatch right now, because if you ask me just after that first round, Gaia should have very easily been able to take out Regen, but Regen did an excellent job of reading what their composition was and hard countering it. We are going to get a confirmation right now. We are going to be going to Lijiang Tower next. Oh boy, all right. I'm super curious to see what's going to happen here, because if I was Regen, I don't know that I would want to try a Rush composition. And Lijiang kind of favors a Reinhardt. Of course, we see the Symmetra come out pretty frequently. As well, a Junkrat, you know, you got that cheeky little corners and stuff like that. You can drop a bunch of grenades, and who doesn't like walking into a corner and just exploding by a million mines, or getting trapped up and then exploded by a million mines. Lots of options here to pick on Lijiang Tower, but seems like Gaia might have something up their sleeve, which could potentially be why they are more comfortable playing on Control. But even if they win this map out, it is possible that Regen could pick another map that kind of was similar to King's Row in the sense that it was a little bit more Rush style, and then we could see them bust out that Orisa composition. Regardless, once again, like to remind everybody, these teams are both undefeated in the All-Star Brawl up until now. So, you know, a little bit of ego on the line here. Is it going to be Regen? Is it going to be Gaia? Who knows? And also, too, as we are getting ready for our next match, I'd like to remind everybody, once again, if you see a pop-off performance that you think is pretty spectacular, to say the least, then make sure to go down to the About section because we do have our MVP poll going on right there. So you can vote for your player, and then they're going to join us in the booth at the end so we can ask them and pick their brain on some Overwatch tips. Once again, it doesn't have to be the winner. We can interview anybody. So that is something that we should keep in mind moving forwards here. Regardless, the teams, looks like we are going to be readying up. I don't know what to expect from these teams right now. Gaia, well, they really liked playing Ball Tracer. I don't know that that is going to work here on Lijiang Tower. Sure, maybe Night Market, that could be pretty powerful, but depending on some of the other places, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So I want to see Gaia bring out a little bit more variety here. Sure, you know, you'll really like the ball composition, but I'm hoping to see that they are flexible and they aren't just going to be playing one single composition throughout the entire night because, you know, flexibility is going to be especially important, especially too as we get further and further into these matches. We are going to be getting the confirmation that both of these teams are ready. So let's head in now to Lijiang Tower. I'm very excited to see what these maps are going to be bringing forwards. Maybe we'll even see a bit of Pharah. I do enjoy seeing some Pharah mercy pocketing going on over there. But we are going to be starting out on Night Market first. So I do think Ball Tracer can work here. But let's see if that's the look that a guy want to be bringing, considering that they couldn't figure out what to do on the last map. All right, we've only got a couple more seconds before we get teased with what these heroes are going to be bringing forward. But I'm excited. I'm very excited. And hey, you know what? This time, Gaia, they don't have to stay on the point. So this could work out a little bit better for them as they are teasing us with a little bit more a dive coming in. Gaia and Regen as well today on that monkey. Well, let's see how that goes. Okay, never mind. Seems like today really enjoys playing Orisa. And after that last map, you know, I don't blame him, honestly. So let's see how things go as the doors are going to be opening up in just a couple seconds. All right, looks like they actually are opting to go for a little bit more rush. We are seeing Ski Coops back on the Sombra. These hacks have been instrumental on taking down and dismantling AJ, so I expect to see more of that, but right now it's going to be whoever can get control of the point first. How Regen is working, they want to stay on point and just control it, because if they can just hang out on point, then it's going to make their lives a lot more easier. They can just control it right there, and Gaia's going to have a tough time trying to dismantle them and honestly get them out of place because they go in, so much crowd control, so much stun could come in, and it's going to make things extremely difficult. But now, here we go. We're seeing the engagement come through. Ski Coops with a pick onto Haven to start it out, while AJ without his partner, it's going to make diving in a little bit more difficult. And just like predicted, Regen, they're going to get first point, and they're more than happy to just kind of play around these angles and wait for Gaia to push into them.
Oh, this is a crazy game of Overwatch, Marks.
Absolutely is, isn't it?
Fantastic. Still, we here on Lijiang Tower, it once again seems like the same problem that Gaia, with this dive comp, do not feel comfortable actually standing toe-to-toe with these Rhines. They really have to find their opening, but while they're searching for it, they're losing percentage.
Yeah, and already, that's 32% on the board for Regen, and they haven't even had to take a full team fight just yet. We're seeing right now, Fiddle trying to play hooky with Today, but Today's more than happy to just swing his hammer. Amplification Matrix dropped in the back line, and that's Akeem getting a double pick onto Catatrix as well as Monica. And you can see Gaia, well, they've got no solution for this, so they're just going to be backing up. AJ trying to escape, but this crowd control is just doing wonders right now for shutting them down.
Yeah, Marks, I think I'm the only one allowed to play hooky around so far, but it is tough, you know. I have nothing going for them right now, and even if they do get something started, they're going to be coming straight into Ski Coop's EMP. Like, if they get a couple of members on point and try and follow up on an early pick, Ski Coops can just EMP, shut down the Tracer, shut down the ball. He doesn't even need to, as Pink handles that himself, but still, it's traded out here, 5v5 on point. But I need to get something. Regen are very close to capping.
Well, that's a huge EMP. That's going to find 3 members, Haven, Monica, and Catatrix. Unfortunately, not able to capitalize on that one. But, you know, Ski Coops, he did send Fiddle off the edge. So, you know,
yeah, and that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Still, Akeem Punish coming back from spawn, but the rally's out from Eski. I don't think I have a way back into this.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing, oh, that's a huge Earth Shatter coming in. Pins the Zen, that's Transcendence. Unfortunately, not going to get too much value off of that one, but the self-destruct is good to kind of take AJ out of the fight right now. But my eyes are all on Today, shielding his team. Meanwhile, in the backline, they are having a little bit of trouble dealing with a pesky diva, but thankfully they've got Eski, and those whip shots as well as stuns have been doing the team wonders. Eski doing a great job of defending the backline, and Regen take that 100 to 0. Actually, they didn't even count.
Score 1-0.
Now for the end of last map, but this was Gaia's map pick.
Yes, it was. And you know what? Like, right now, I said this during the break, but I think Gaia really have to start changing up their composition. They're relying a little bit too heavily on AJ on that ball and Haven on the Tracer. And right now, Ski Coops is completely shutting it down with a little bit of help from Eski.
Yeah, we saw how effective it was to start out with, but Regen really seemed to have gotten Gaia's number a little bit. They figured out exactly what they want to do, how they want to respond. That is Ski Coops on the Sombra, who's going to continue to play it in this kind of 6-man dive composition. No one's going to be able to check Monica, though. This Pharah might be an early lead for Gaia if they manage to make it work.
Absolutely, and look, already so much damage going in on the line. You can see right now it's going to have to be green to try and contest that because they don't have an answer. They don't have any hit scan to try and contest Monica at all. But hey, a hack out of the air is going to be just fine. That's going to take him straight down. Fiddle, falling extremely low, is going to get demeched here. So that's going to be an easy first fight for now, but honestly, right now, the standout player is Ski Coops. These hacks have been absolutely instrumental for Regen to hold on to these fights.
Yeah, that was a beautiful engage to take the Pharah out of the sky, then dive onto the Diva. Still, Regen have lost a member here, so I think they're down one in this fight, but the Pharah can't really get into the attack on point yet. AJ goes down, and it's almost, they're up members, but it doesn't feel like Monica is actually getting too much value in.
Yeah, we talk about the AJ and Haven dive, but also too, Today and Akeem have been doing a great job. You know, AJ getting so much just cleave damage into the entire team, and then Haven just, Akeem is just there to clean up those rest of those pesky kills. And also too, Pink on this Moira doing a great job of keeping everyone nice and healthy.
Yeah, and now ultimates are coming online for Regen. Almost all of them. The DPS ults are going to be alive for Gaia, so Monica could find a large barrage. There's no sound barrier or anything to deny it other than that defense matrix. But on the other hand, Ski Coops has the EMP. You can take the Pharah right out of the sky and right into the right off the map if you're lucky.
Oh, the AMP does come out, and it's just going to find AJ. We see Haven drop the pulse bomb, but the barrage from Monica is going to be good for 2. Akeem doesn't care, though, has the sound barrier, and now this is just the Akeem show, as he just finds so much damage into Gaia, and Gaia don't have an answer for this guy. He's just showing how good on Tracer he is.
That's beautiful from Akeem. The 3K to save it. The ults used. All of the ults that Gaia had built up were used. I think Fiddle just got that bomb at the end there, but they have absolutely nothing to work with. I'm not sure if they'll even get up to this rally. Their only saving grace is that Regen used everything they had there as well, but with point control and just how they've been playing so far, Gaia are still going to struggle. Just being able to stand on point, especially if AJ goes in, he gets hacked up, and you just commit to a 5v6 just trying to get that touch.
Absolutely, and keep in mind, Fiddle right now does have the self-destruct. Losing AJ is not a great start as well. Fiddle's gonna just have to use this for the rematch. Gonna be moving in here. Drops the explosion on point. Doesn't find any value. Meanwhile, Akeem is ready to punish Monica on the back line. Is going to get taken out by Excellent, but it might not be enough. AJ is able to rejoin the fight pretty quickly, thankfully, because of that Wrecking Ball. Catatrix popping the rally as well, but now it's... Let's hope that this is enough. Right now, they are finding the picks. Today does fall down, and, well, it looks like they're able to flip the point over, so Gaia winning out their first team fight, but... Spooky, this is 99.5.
They weren't just fighting for the map; they were fighting for AJ's pride there. Because if you lose that fight, that'll break your mental in half. Just split it down the middle if you go over the edge when you need to touch at the last minute. But like you said, it is at 99% for Regen. They can play this slow. They can stack up their ultimates, and that's an advantage that Gaia don't really have. They need to use their ultimates to win the fight. They need to cycle them. While Regen, they can build up to these support ults, they can build up to the EMP, and they're pretty happy to do so. Let's see if that's what they want to do, or if they think they can take a fight with the support ults they have right now.
Yeah, Pink waiting for the Coalescence to come online here. I expect to see it, but a big stick. Okay, can't fade out of it. That's absolutely huge. Now popping the Coalescence, but it looks like this is going to be the Monica show as the visor comes out. And Walt, there's nothing you can do against that little aimbot. Getting 2 instrumental picks and Haven right there for the assist to clean up a rest. And Gaia, they hold on to this point as now they've got 55%. And you know what? Hey, this is looking a little bit rough because Regen, they're going to have a lot of ultimates in their pocket for this next fight.
Yeah, Gaia used 3 ults to win that one out. They're able to do so, but now they don't have too much. They'll have the mines, they'll have the bomb, but it's already Regen engaging with the sound barrier.
Ooh, excellent. Falls down. Akiv also finding Monica. A little bit angry about how that last fight went. Well, the EMP is going to be coming out just to make sure that Haven and AJ get absolutely 0 value out of this fight. Now they've just got to play this fiddle into the ground, and as soon as that happens, they are going to be able to flip the point. And our overtime is activated, but it doesn't look like anybody from Gaia are going to be able to make it on. So, hey, Spooky, look at that. Regen now up in the series 2-0, showing they are also good on dive compositions, not just a rush.
Yeah, and they do it on Gaia's map pick as well. A very good play coming out from Regen. It really felt like that first map was a gimme. They just got their rush comp onto the point and were able to set up. The second one they had to fight for a little bit more. But again, Gaia attacking a point that is held strongly by the defense. They seem to be struggling a little bit with it. They did it very well on King's Row, but they had a lot of high ground to work with. They were able to flank a lot. They were able to get AJ and Haven into position, and maybe most crucially, there was no Sombra on the enemy team.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to really struggle playing around the Sombra, and that's why Regen continually run it with Ski Coops on that hero. He's just playing. He isn't even doing anything incredible, right?
Yeah.
He's playing with his team. He's getting the hacks, and Gaia continue to go on kind of these long flanks. They do not play grouped up as a team. Their compositions are very split off. They're all over the place, and Regen is truly punishing that because every single one of their compositions have been very grouped together. We've seen the rush comps from them. We've seen the 6-man dive comps from them.
Mm-hmm.
They really want to play as a team, which leads Gaia's players, like AJ specifically, hung out to dry. When he's trying to roll through, he's only really played the ball, and he is always trying to roll through, disrupt, get into the back line, like play the way you want to play ball, right?
Yeah.
But every time he does it, it seems like Ski Coops is specifically saving that manual hack for him. Ski Coops has even EMP'd AJ. Like, he has solo EMP'd AJ twice.
Yes, that is
just
true.
To get that instantaneous hack off, destroy the hamster, and keep going. Yeah. It really seems like that is Regen's game plan. It's been working out great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you said, how Gaia is, Ski Coops just gets a single hack off, and they're left out to hang. The thing about playing nice and grouped up is you do have members of your team come back and peel for you when you do get hacked in order to make sure that you don't get taken out immediately. But Regen just doing an absolutely fantastic job of shutting that down with Ski Coops. And hey, if a single player who has been hacking a lot, but also two might have gotten play of the game there, has maybe caught your eye, resonated with your heart a little bit, then make sure to head down into the About section to do the MVP poll. Because right now, there are quite a few players that I would love to see in the booth with us at the very end to get an interview done with, because some of these players on Regen right now are popping off. And Spooky, next up, we've got the next map. It's Temple of Anubis.
Yeah, we're going to Anubis. Once again, one of Gaia's map picks. The fact that they CP map after everything we just talked about is a little surprising to me. Maybe, but again, this is a 2 CP map where I do think the ball tracer works a little bit better, especially on that first point. There are a lot of ways in. That is the big problem with Anubis, right? Is point A, there's only one way to enter. It's that solid choke point where a lot of people get set up on the high ground, potentially with like a double shield composition. We see the Junkrat very frequently, and that's just because they're able to spam that choke.
Yes.
If you're running the ball, if you run the Tracer, run the Echo, you kind of just bypass that altogether.
Sure.
You get a little bit of point pressure, you can draw them back, you can get through the choke, and then take advantage of the high ground that really surrounds the point. If you're able to. Again, Gaia has been doing a very, very strong job. You know, if I'm AJ and my job is to roll behind them, get on the point, and try and draw them off the high ground, I'm scared, you know? I feel like I'm going to get hacked, I'm going to get demolished on point, then they're just going to very quickly take that positioning, then go hunt down some other members of my team, because it's a 5v6 now, and I'm a 600 HP just ult charge.
Yep, and honestly, too, I think that's going to be a bit of a barrier for AJ to overcome, you know, to play with the confidence that you need on a Wrecking Ball to actually get a lot of value is going to be hard with how effective Regen has been at shutting him down. There was one point in King's Row where he got hacked, whip-shotted, stunned by the flash grenade, and then also stunned with Briggs' shield. And like, what do you do against
the main tank experience?
Yes, the main tank.
But it's worse for AJ because he is constantly split off from his team. You know, that happens to you as Reinhardt or Winston. You're getting pumped full of like Ana darts and the Baptiste grenades. You're getting healed through that. AJ does not have that.
Yes.
Not at all. And we are going to see that they are sticking to their guns, Marks. Gaia are playing this composition on defense, which I don't know. Again, like I've been saying this whole time, this composition's based around you get a Discord orb on someone, then Monica, Haven, and AJ just completely demolish them. But already we see Ski Coops locking in the Sombra once again.
Yep. Oh, boy.
It's very punishing towards AJ specifically because he needs to get behind them. He needs to find an angle to put in damage. And every single time he splits off from his team, he gets punished.
Yep. My eyes are going to be on Ski Coops for a little bit. I want to see who he's going to be hacking. It's going to be absolutely huge, especially if AJ decides to engage just like that. Is able to escape because of a little bit of a whip shot by Eski, it looks like. But Regen, they've already made their way halfway in. Now they're going to be looking to set up on the high ground today, leading the charge here. You know, Gaia, they're just going to give up the high ground for free. Their composition doesn't favor trying to contest them here. And, well, as soon as they've got all of their members, well, Regen's going to be ready. Meanwhile, we've got a little bit of a cheeky flank. Haven coming into the back line. Eski, though, will be there to check him. Let's see how it goes. Okay, he's going to be engaging a little bit, but now this is going to be the peel coming in from green, trying to pressure him out, and that's exactly what happens. The Amplification Matrix already online, and now this is going to be today, just getting so much value, able to just spray that machine gun through. And look at this, Regen. It looks like they're ready to march their way onto point. We're going to be seeing AJ go in there, but immediately gets just taken out of the fight by a Kiev. Monaco was already taken out of the sky, but does find a little cheeky res brought back into the fight, but right now, this is looking very good for Regen. They haven't even really won the team fight, but just the way that guy has been playing, there's no one to contest the point.
Oh. Yeah, they're just walking forward, dude. Like, they don't have to do anything else. Gaia are scared of meeting them head on. So they literally just walk forward, they get high ground for free. Haven flanks for like 5 seconds and gets pushed off, and Regen walks forward on the point and they cap. They have so many targets, they have so many stuns, they have so many hacks, they have so much to deny the dive style, and that's the only thing Gaia has shown. Just completely dismantled in the compositional matchup.
Right, here we go. Akib using the Deadeye, finds Haven. Haven, though, got Eski. We're going to be seeing the Supercharger come in, and Regen are already set up on point. It's going to force out a transform. Excellent. All the ultimates are being thrown on point right now, as well as an Amplification Matrix, the Duplicate, the explosions. It's looking like the July 4th right now, but right now, we might have seen a stabilization come out from Gaia. They're finding these picks here, and are able to just temper the storm that is Regen.
Marks, they lost 2 ticks.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
What? They lost 2 ticks. They cannot stand against this composition. They can't do it. They use the Duplicate. They use the Pulse Bomb. They use the Transcendence. Maybe even the Valkyrie there too, just to hold on as Regen just walk on the point again. They might get something going with this Gravitic Flux Mine combo, but as soon as today gets another Supercharger, as Ski Coops gets another EMP. That's all they need, and they should be able to get on the points. Yep, 2 ultimates used, and looks like they're almost completely whiffed, but Excellent saves it with that pick onto a Kiev. Both tank ults got They got some damage done, but they didn't get picks on their own, and it's only Excellent getting that exit pick that actually slows down Regen at all.
Absolutely, and Eski did commit the rally there. Thought it was a good time, but then immediately Akiv kind of fell down thanks to the pick from Excellent, so it's going to slow down their
if
momentum.
he didn't, think Regen would just be walking in there with rally armor against nothing. That's potentially a match-saving play coming out from Excellent, and then Haven as well has been really been doing some work on this Tracer, getting some of these picks, and honestly, it does feel like Haven's one of the main reasons that Regen haven't won this point already.
I completely agree with that, and you know, right now, Haven isn't even really playing with AJ. AJ is basically bait for the team.
Yeah, I mean, if the other team's gunning for you so hard, that's the best way you can play it. But still, how long can this last, Marks? How long can they keep this up?
That's true. Monica falling down first from Akiv. Akiv also got this Deadeye. It's going to be a rest to bring him back online, but oh no, this is going to be an absolutely deadly combo here. The Amplification Matrix is just so good, especially with the Orisa. We're going to be seeing Monica go onto the Orisa to try and grab a Supercharger. Excellent, using the Transcendence to keep everybody alive. Now, we're going to be seeing the battle of the Superchargers here on the point, but Monica is taken out of Duplicate. Regen did not lose any of their members through that entire duplication. Shout out to both Eski and Pink. We see the rally get popped, but immediately Eski falls down. And now it's just Regen here. They're so close to capping it out, but it looks like they will be losing this out. They're still going to be trying their damnedest here. Green with the explosive kill onto Haven. Might have kept this one alive, but the respawner's advantage right now is favoring Gaia so heavily. We're also seeing mines come up. Oh, is this the mines graph combo? No, because it's taken out of the air by Ski Coops. That's a huge EMP to shut the rest of the team down. Excellent. Might be popping off here. Trying to keep this point alive. Doing a pretty good job. Now Monica on this Doofus as well. That burst damage has just been going absolutely in their favor. And, well, Gaia, despite what I thought was going to be happening, are going to be holding on to this point once again.
And it's just Excellent in Haven, individually having very strong performances, saving the fight for Gaia time and time again. Regen have been very, very close to capping twice now. And it's just individual pop-up moments coming out from players on Gaia to keep it alive. But I don't know, Marks, every single fight feels so risky for Gaia, and not at all for Regen. Luckily, Gaia have once again another Transcendence. They've used one of those every single time that Regen managed to get on point, just because Excellent has been doing so well. And that might be what is able to have them hold on to, is this play coming out from the Tracer and the Zenyatta, who are just individually having pop-off incredible performances. If I was going down to the MVP vote, I would look very hard at putting it on either of those players, because they are keeping this team in the game.
Absolutely, and look at that. They've already shut down the momentum. What was looking like a very healthy time bank for Regen is down to a mere 36 seconds. Green, absolutely staggered out. The team is going to be there to pick him up, but Akiv finding Catatrix is going to allow them to get a little bit of space now. And they're happy to just roll this thing forward. They have to keep their eyes on Excellent because, well, he's been doing a bit of an excellent job, if you ask me. Ski Coops finding AJ. They're online. Great placement. And Excellent has to use that chance to make sure that they don't get too much value out of it. Meanwhile, Monica has the duplicate. Going to be building up to a self-destruct sometime soon, but that's Green with 2 on his self-destruct there. Monica, falling out of the duplicate, is able to take Ski Coops out of the fight, but this is looking like it's all crumbling down for Gaia. We're seeing the high noon now come in from Akiv. He's going to find Haven, and now just the Stall Heroes are back. AJ, Catatrix, and Fiddle trying to keep this one alive, but Eski has to rally, and now they've got rally armor. They're feeling absolutely indestructible, and that's going to be first point capture in overtime for Regen.
Yeah, Regen finally make it through, but it's a good hold from Gaia, especially considering how bad some of those spots looked. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, I cannot highlight how good Excellent has been for this team. He's been getting the picks, he's stalling out multiple situations where Regen are trying to push through. He got some stalling picks onto Akiv, he saved a couple of fights, and he's had the Transcendence always when it's needed. This guy is putting down so much damage that he is pretty much always has this ultimate. And there have probably been 2 or 3 times where Gaia would have capped if Excellent wasn't just there, invulnerable with the trance. Honestly, I think he is the only reason that Regen does not have like a 4-man time bank right now.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw even before the fights began, he was able to find a pick right off the bat, shut down a Kiev, shut down Ski, and well, then that shuts down the entire offense that Regen had planned for it. So Excellent, doing an excellent job of cutting this down, but also too, I'd like to highlight Haven as well. You know, Egg is throwing on a Discord orb onto somebody, and you can see that Haven is ready to get aggressive. You know, he isn't AJ. The team isn't checking him as much, and he's able to just zip in there, get a kill, zip out, and that's, once again, slowing things down for Regen a lot. But looks like a similar composition coming out from Regen, as well as Gaia, but let's see if they can make it all the way to the end here, and hopefully get a little bit of a healthier time bank than Regen did on this attack.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they will be able to. Excellent, not on the defense anymore. The Zenyatta is going to have a hard time finding positioning to get as much value as he was on the defense. It's hard. He doesn't have any vertical mobility. He's very squishy. It's hard for him to actually get in. So let's see if Excellent can put off a pop-off performance on the offense as well. Like I was talking about in the beginning, it is just AJ the Ghost trying to stall out the point a little bit, but it does seem like Green has his number. Akiv with an early pickoff, and that is the go sign for Regen. They can follow up on this if they want to. Still, losing today shouldn't be a problem. Today should be able to come back very quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be up to the rest of the team members to just kind of hold that, because it is a little bit of a long walk back, and, well,
they could get through the choke. They could get through the choke. Yeah, but the thing is, if you have an Orisa, you can pretty easily set up on point if you want to, instead of the high ground, and try and take the fight from there. But this could give the high ground positioning over to Gaia, and it looks like they do want that.
Today, rejoining the fight here, Haven finding the 1v1 against Green, and is going to be coming out on top of that one. Now we're seeing the Dragons come in. Excellent positioning there. Haven able to find Eski as well. We saw the amplification matrix come in from Pink, but that played excellently into Haven's Dragon Strike. And well, that's looking pretty good for Gaia now. They've got 1 tick, and they're going to make it 2. And there's nobody from Regen who is going to be on this point to be able to stall it out. So this is going to be a 0.2 hold for Regen.
Yeah, very, very, very good for Gaia. You know, they do get that pick onto today in a losing fight, but that does give them the positioning they need, and Haven just completely takes advantage of it. He opens that one up, and he closes it out as well. Great play from Haven. Now, moving forward, let's see exactly what Gaia are going to do. They're going to start pushing into the ults from Regen, and these Orisa comps will be very strong, just being able to stand strong on points.
Yes.
I'm curious how they're going to get, you know, like Fiddle and Excellent actually participating in the fight. No mobility, not a lot of defensive options. Like, how do you actually get them onto point instead of just kind of spamming from the outside looking in?
Yeah, but Haven getting a pick onto Eski, that's going to allow them a little bit more in here. AJ falling extremely low in the back, but now the EMP does come out. It does find a Fiddle, but we're seeing a Transcendence come in from Excellent. You know, this guy has been absolutely popping off, and bringing AJ back into the fight is just going to do wonders for them. Right now, the clock is ticking up. Can any of the heroes come in here to stall things out? Ski Coop trying his best, but AJ already found 2 more picks. There's a minefield in front of him, and that is going to be the clean sweep as, well, Gaia, they're not out of this one just quite yet.
Yeah, they are actually very favored to win this. They cannot lose anymore. The worst that can happen is they get a draw, because I do not believe Regen will get an attack based off these time banks. And finally, it seems like Gaia's composition is starting to come together because of Haven. As I was talking about before, you know, the only way this comp works against a very close together composition like the ones Regen like to run is if you get an opening pick. And it didn't feel like they could do that. You know, AJ would go in to distract, get hacked up, he'd die, the 5v6 would come down, and Gaia would just kind of get wiped. So they weren't able to make it happen on the Tracer. They could not find that opening. But Haven, with the one-shot potential on the Hanzo, it really feels like it's like a flood breaking through a dam, pretty much. Haven gets that one headshot onto Eski on that last fight, and then like the rest of the team just collapsed. I was
Yeah.
talking about Fiddle and Egg having a hard time getting in. As soon as Esky goes down, they start pushing forward. AJ comes in with a pile driver. Monica flies forward. And it's good synergy between everyone because Excellent is able to use the Transcendence, which lets Catatrix get their Resurrect off on AJ the Ghost as well. It seems like as soon as one member falls on the side of Regen,
They're ready.
Gaia, they're rear and they're ready to go.
Well, let's see how this
But you
goes.
need to get that one pick. You need to get that one pick
It's
first.
But interestingly enough, we are seeing a little bit of a compositional change come out of Regen here. Ski Coops on the Echo, as well as a Keeve on this Ashe for a little bit longer range potential.
Yeah.
They know
There's
they
no
can't
tracer.
give up a
Why not?
tick here. So this is going to work, but Excellent finds the first pick, and this is going to be a go time for Gaia here. We can see AJ
Ski
getting the engage. He's going to get stunned up as per usual, but this time there's less punishment for it. Ski Coops, though, coming in absolutely clutch when his team needed him, able to take out Fiddle and Excellent. And, well, now it's looking like they're back into this fight. They are going to be holding back onto point, but they've at least stalled for a little bit of time.
Yeah, enough time to get a Kiev back into the fight. But again, it does. They've lost the positioning. They get pushed back into
Or
the
Kiev.
point. And yeah, this is the same thing that happened. AJ is able to punish a Kiev on the way back, and now they have the point positioning. It's exactly what happened on the first round.
Yeah, and, you know, Regen was really good at punishing AJ, but as soon as they kind of stepped aside, well, now it's AJ's time to shine. Being so good at just finding these first pickoffs here. Ski Coops has fallen down. Now they're trying to punish him. He does escape with his life. We are going to be seeing the Amplification Matrix drop down just in the back line here, just to add a little bit more pressure, but they're already halfway up to that tick marker. Today, finding Monica is an excellent start. It's going to slow down that momentum here as Regen. They're going to stabilize for just a second, but they've got a split up team on their top line there, so they got to be careful how they play this.
Yeah, for sure. Still, Regen, you know, they're happy just sitting on point, not really giving an opening for Gaia to get that first pick. And so far, it's working out for them. They lose Ski Coops, but they do have the trade, so it's a 5v5 on points. Still,
Yeah, well-
Catatrix with the res.
Yeah, he's bringing Fiddle back into the fight here. Gonna find a remake right off the bat, but look, the picks are coming through right now for Gaia. The dragons are so good. There's nowhere to run when you get stuck inside of their Regen, and now this is looking like it is all over for Regen as Gaia. They're going to be taking their first map in the series, and now it is 2-1 for Regen.
Yeah, and a lot of their success comes off the back of Haven's Hanzo. I
Absolutely.
really do think that is kind of what has really opened up the game for Gaia, because you know, when you're countering a ball, right? You're countering AJ the Ghost. You have the Sombra, you have the Brig, you have the Cowboy on the hit scan. You have all of these different stuns, all these different hacks. They're there to they counter the ball, yes, and that's what we've been seeing a lot. But they also make it very, very hard to play the Tracer.
Absolutely.
So Haven swapping over to the Hanzo gets a little bit more long range, but that also forces Regen to swap over to characters like the Ashe, for instance. So suddenly the flashbang's out. AJ is able to do a little bit more. Ski Coops isn't on the Sombra anymore, or he isn't on the Sombra anymore. He swaps over to the Echo, trying to have a bit of a stronger defense. Because you're not punished, like the Sombra loses value because you're not against a Tracer anymore. Sombra doesn't do much against a Hanzo. He can even see you with the recon arrows. So just that one swap takes a lot of the value away from Regen's composition. We saw it largely punishing the ball, but it indirectly countered most of what Gaia was running. So Gaia makes that single swap, goes over to the Hanzo. Regen have to respect it, and they lose a lot of their power doing so.
Absolutely. And, you know, if you saw any of these pop-off performances here, maybe Haven, maybe Excellent, then make sure to go down below and vote for them in our MVP poll down below. Once again, I completely agree with you there. Once Gaia tried to change it up, they were able to crack open Regen's defense and offense, honestly. And you know what? I like that look that they were showing us right there. You don't have to rely on that ball tracer. You can try other things that it's working.
What I really love about it is it doesn't completely upend their game plan.
Yes.
They're playing the same style. They're playing basically the same composition. They keep doing the same things that they to do on the Tracer, but they just swap out the Hanzo to get a little bit more long-range one-pick potential, and they're able to keep trying the same things they've obviously practiced. It's not a wholesale, like, let's go rush because this isn't working, or let's, try double shield or dive. It is a small compositional switch to just accurately pinpoint their problem. It's a scalpel and not a hammer. And it's fantastic from Gaia. I really, really like this, especially after the beating they took on Lijiang Tower.
Oh, absolutely. But speaking of Lijiang Tower, well, could be going back to control point. Next up, we've got Oasis. Spooky, what can you tell me about Oasis?
It's control, It's the same thing I always say for control is each point is so different that you'll generally see different compositions coming out. I'm not sure that'll quite happen with Gaia playing all of these, really forcing this ball composition as much as they want. I'm worried for them with University, though. It can work. I'd rather run a ball comp on University than, say, Lijiang Control Center, which we didn't see, so we're not sure if they would have played the rush. But it is that, every control map has a very specific point where rush is just better. It's a very close quarters map that you can really get back to the fight quickly. You can hold these strong choke points, and that is what University is for Oasis. So if we do end up going to that map, I'm curious if Gaia will continue to run these ball comps. You don't really have the long sight lines. You don't have such a large map that really makes the mobile comps better. I'm curious. And that's the problem, because Regen, if they're running the rush, they get on the point, they cap the point, then it's just Gaia. You have to force an opening somewhere. That seemed to be their issue the last time on Control, is that they are looking for openings, but the whole time they're looking, Regen is happy to just sit on point, put in some shots, and just passively collect the percentage.
And it's like
for Gaia.
On the last Control map we saw, they weren't even taking full team fights. Regen just kind of got the point. Then they picked one or two members off of Gaia. And once that happened, they just held on to the point because Gaia just backed off because they're like, wait, we got to get our team to regroup here. So as we're loading into Oasis now, I'm curious to see whether or not Gaia are going to be continuing to stick to their guns and what Regen might bring out to change it up on them, because we have seen Regen, they're still comfortable playing dive as well. So, they've got many looks for their team.
Yeah, for sure. I'm worried for Gaia. I honestly am. Even they have shown us different compositions, like they've shown us the Far Mercy, they've shown us the Hanzo, they've shown us the Tracer, but still the same general game plan, which is find a pick, follow up on it.
Yes.
And again, we already see, I guarantee you, these are the compositions the teams are going to be running out with. It's so hard to find that opening pick on the rush comp. It takes time. You have to get someone, you have to boop someone out of the way potentially, so the Zen can do some damage. But I want to remind you that Gaia were able to do this on King's Row. They played against the classic rush, and they did punish it pretty hard. Ski Coop's not in the Sombra anymore, so potentially Gaia are very comfortable dismantling the rush with these ball tracers and comps, but they have to do it fast. I do think this composition may have the advantage, but they have the advantage in the long run. And the more time you spend trying to find that opening pick, the more percentage is going to your enemy.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at that. Already, Regen are so comfortable to just set up onto the point. Now, the flick is going to be going up. Monica finding a pick onto a key. Might just keep this one alive for Gaia. We're seeing AJ go head-to-head with a giant Reinhardt. He is able to escape just barely, but he coops on the Mei, trying to freeze people up. Unfortunately, gets taken into the fight himself now. Fiddle doing so much damage. Okay, Fiddle. He's not done yet. He wants to go in there, but Green is able to dismantle, Haven. And, well, Gaia, they're going to be the first ones capping things out for once.
Yeah, and that's fantastic for them. Because the way this matchup goes down is Regen don't really have a single target to rush on. They have trouble finding it. So what they want to do is just cap the point early and just build up the percentage. It's really a stall comp. But since they've lost the point, they're going to have a much more difficult time actually getting in here. So this is fantastic for Gaia.
Yeah, it really is. We're seeing now a Transcendence pop to counter this amplification matrix. Meanwhile, Ski Coop's falling extremely low. Is kept alive, thankfully, but now we're going to be seeing a Deadeye coming from Akiv. Immediately popped out here. The Pulse Bomb does come out, but Eski's Soundbarrier kept everybody alive. Now Ski Coop's doing a great job of freezing things up, slowing down this dive, but still, the picks are coming through for Gaia. And they're more than happy to just move this one out and get the rest of these kills. Unfortunately, losing Haven and Fiddle, someone's still stalling out on a fight, but it's just Green and Baby Diva form. So Monika's just going to take him out of that fight. And, well, Gaia are holding on to this pretty strong.
Yeah, Regen's certainly still playing the rush comp in like a stall sustain kind of way. They're just stalling off the point and sustaining off the point until they all die. But a lot of ultimates still online for Gaia. The Blizzard's out for Regen, but who are you putting it on? Maybe you can just bully AJ again, but the bombs coming through, the mines are down. A lot of ultimates.
Yeah, a lot of ultimates online. We're going to be seeing Monika swap over to the Reinhardt. That was going to be Rein v Rein. Hopefully going to charge up that Earth Shatter. Does drop down today. Oh, just 1 HP left. Spin it around, but Monika's right there behind him. Haven getting that follow-up. And once again, Gaia are coming out on top of that team fight, despite the ultimate infestation that they had done. And Gaia, that's point number 1. Hey, they're looking pretty good, Spooky.
Beautiful play. That's exactly what they need to do. I can't help but stress even more how important that first fight is.
Yes.
Because if Regen cap, it will take a long time to dismantle them. They're happy to get into a corner and just hide behind the shield, hide behind ice walls, eat up with the defense matrix, do whatever. Yes. But once Gaia win, they have all the positioning they need to actually use some of these dives to get excellent into position and just completely harass Regen. This was the map I was worried about, though. University, it's a little bit tougher to get the dive going, and it's going to be even harder with Ski Cubes moving over to the Sombra now. AJ, once again, could get punished in the opening part of this map. And then suddenly it's a 5v6, and that's going all the way to Gaia.
Yeah, and
that's going all the way to Regen, yeah.
What they're going to be trying to do there. AJ barely escaping with his life. Ski Coops had to translocate out of there, but right now I'm going to get booped by AJ. Uh-oh, Haven's with the follow-up, and AJ going to be a little bit happier about that one. Haven, meanwhile, finding Pink in the back line. Haven popping around, looking for Eski now. Once again, the Haven AJ dive is working out, and it is working out strong. Well,
it's so great that they find the Sombra. They find the one member of the team that actually splits off, capitalize it, get that opening pick, then they're surrounding the points that Regen are sitting on. They're able to, like, Rein's shield only goes one way. They're able to just put in the damage from everywhere and cap the point early. I was worried about this first fight for Gaia, but they managed to pull it off, and quite frankly, things look very, very good for them.
Yeah, well, Akeem finding Haven, that's going to slow things right down. AJ gets hacked. Uh-oh. This is where it all falls apart usually for AJ. He's being chased down by Green. He is going to be taken out of the fight. And now things are looking like they should be. Okay, that's an absolutely huge EMP. 4-man EMP. The rest of the members are going to be falling down. And while Regen, they're regaining their honor as they clean up the point. Excellent did find Eski, but he's 1 HP. And, well, today he just gets him with a fire strike. And now Regen have the point.
Yeah, and this is just the swap over to the Sombra. It does give Regen a lot of ways to actually punish Gaia as they try and do all these flanking maneuvers in a way that the Mei could not. So, again, Gaia had the advantage, but everything gets a little bit harder for them. It was hard enough in the first place to actually find the picks they want. I'm not sure if they'll get lucky enough to catch Ski Coops out on his own once again. And Akeem with that pick on the Monika. Gaia cannot go into this 5v6. They really won't get anything done, especially if Ski Coops can just isolate a target with a hack.
Yeah, Akeem taking excellent
off, dude.
He's been
doing very, very good this match.
Very great. We've seen him pop off on our first map too, and right now, he's showing us just why he could be a considerer, maybe an MVP. Hey, if you like what you're seeing, then make sure to vote down below. But actually, we're seeing the duplicate come online. That's going to be a Diva immediately responding. Pink going to be trying to drop down the application matrix. Ski Coops is taken out of the fight, and that's kind of the big problem point for them. Monika built up the self-destruct, throwing it over onto point. Doesn't find anybody, but that's okay because it zoned them backwards. But Akeem has just been absolutely popping off. Now AJ has to give him the respect because, well, there's nothing much to do with without the rest of your team. And right now, Regen, looking really good. Look at all those ultimates, Spooky.
Yeah, look at the ult banks. Exactly what I was going to say. Catatrix and Egg can get their team onto point. But again, that's not where you want to be. Like, you don't want to be on point against this comp from Regen. Regen taking a very aggressive fight here. Let's see if it works out for them. They're split up, they're scattered, and Ski Coops goes down.
Yeah, Ski Coops holding down is not good. That's an Earth Shatter coming in, gonna shut down the rally, but it's met with Excellence's Transcendence. We're in overtime now, Spooky, which means that it is all on the line for Gaia. They have to come back and win out this point right here. Today, got... Now, this is looking like Gaia are feeling a little bit more comfortable. They are on point and they have flipped things back over, but Regen, they just need one more team fight, and then they could flip this around and have a shot at winning it all.
Yeah, and they almost have an EMP. I do think that aggressive push from Regen is actually what lost them that point. They split up, they scattered. It's not what you want to do, but still, Ski Coops with the EMP followed by the Amplification Matrix. If he lands it onto Egg and like one other person, that should be a fight win for Regen, and then a point win as well.
Yeah, let's see how this goes. The EMP does come out. It does find 3, including Monica on the Tracer now. Haven has the visor, gonna be popping it. Thinks
Big
this
visor?
is still winnable, but you can see right now Regen are more than happy to just back things off.
They capped as well.
Down. They did flip this around, and now they just have to keep Gaia off the point, keep it alive. AJ, I mean, take down. Yeah, we've seen that story before, and
still the DPS
still looking winnable. Monica has been doing a pretty good job. Does have a pulse bomb.
Monica
finding a Kiev. Now they've just got today to deal with. Put him back into yesterday, takes down Ski Coops, and, well, Gaia flipped the point, but they are hanging on by a thread, Spooky.
Yeah, but now they have the ultimates. Monica is not their Tracer. Absolutely pop in these last moments when they were needed. Not a lot of ultimates coming online here for Regen. Gaia might be able to run away with this one, especially if a big pulse bomb drops on one of their squishies.
Yeah, let's see. My eyes are going to be on Monica. Want to see what they can achieve right now. Monica found the target, drops it, doesn't find anything. That's a little bit unfortunate, but it's okay. It did force out the immortality field, but Excellent has the Transcendence once again. How is he building these things up so quickly? But AJ the Ghost finding Ski Coops with those mines might have just won this map.
Oh, Green?
Green gets the double remat kill. Okay,
Green?
trying to keep this one alive, but and on the point. It's all style points until you see 9 things, and well, that's going to be Gaia tying up our series and forcing map number 5 here in this series.
Yeah, you cannot blame Green for that. This play of the game is probably exactly what happened at the end there, but Green getting 3 kills all on his own. He almost did it. I wish he had touched the point. It would have been beautiful to see, especially with the play he just put out there. Oh. If Green had somehow managed like single-handedly to turn that one around, I think he would have flooded the MVP votes. I think he might deserve a few for that play in and of itself. But you know, Marks, Gaia might be reaching for the brooms because we are looking at a reverse sweep.
Oh boy! And right now, Regen, they must be feeling a little bit bad about that one because there were multiple times where it looked like they were able to win that out, despite the fact that a couple of hero swaps coming in from Gaia, specifically between Haven and Monica. You know, we saw Haven go onto the Soldier and Monica onto the Tracer, and we haven't seen Monica play Tracer this entire round, and Monica was putting in work on Tracer, Spooky. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, literally just coming in on the stall Tracer and deciding to pop off. It's the moment everyone kind of where you swap to a hero that's not your comfort pick, you know, you swap to the Ball or the Doom or whatever, and you just get like a 3K and save the point. It really is the moment that every player craves. But it does manage to work out for Monica. He pushes it all the way to the end, and now Gaia versus Regen 2-2. And yeah, honestly, I do not know who's going to run away with this one, but I'm leaning towards Gaia.
Oh, really?
They have the momentum. They really seem to have figured out exactly how they want to make this comp work. They're sticking to their guns, like we've said. AJ has stuck to the ball this entire time, and they figured Regen out, it feels like.
Yeah.
It's hard to say because I do think like the rush comp was a little bit of a gimme with just the Mei. Since especially because Gaia was able to take that opening fight. Yeah. The Mei does not really punish the Tracer, the Ball as much as the Sombra has, as we saw. But we saw them win the Sombra matchup as well.
Yep. I think honestly that might have just been Ski Coops getting a little bit too ambitious with some of those hacks. Obviously was able to get away with it in previous maps here, but this time AJ and Haven and Monica had his number. They were looking around for that flanking Sombra and were able to just make sure that they weren't able to get as much value out of it. I do want to say that AJ was playing a little bit closer with the team this time. Wasn't just caught out on his own multiple times. And I think that's why he was able to survive.
Maybe that's a map thing. Yeah, it's just like, you can't get that far away from your team on University. Like, it's not that far. Rialto, you can go wherever you want. So maybe that's what we'll see. If we haven't said already, Rialto is going to be our final map of the night, and one of these teams are going to get knocked down to the losers bracket, while the other will move forward to fight Andy's Daycare. All right, everybody, we've had 4 maps already. You should be having an MVP pick forming in your mind. So if you would like to give your team and your player a little bit of extra energy, go on down to the About tab and put in some votes for them. I'm sure they'll feel it coming through the ether, making their shots hit a little bit cleaner. Or AJ will get hacked a little bit less if you give the votes to him. So
it's kind of Goku with the Spirit Bomb, you know, as long as you put the good vibes out into the universe, and then find its way to its player at some point, you know?
Absolutely. So go ahead, put in your votes for the player who most deserves those good vibes. And let's see if it actually contributes to who is going to win here on Rialto. Clean slate marks 2-2. It all comes down to this. And it already looks like we're going to see a defensive double shield comp with the Sombra coming out from Regen. They know they like the Sombra. They know they've had success with it. Eski on the Brigitte as well. So again, AJ is going to have a little bit of trouble. No flashbang this time. Akiv is on the Ash. So a little bit less stuns. You still might get Rock in the face coming out from Green, but it might be a little bit easier for AJ to do what he wants to. And again, Haven on the Hanzo, love to see it. Absolutely. I think this is the pick.
Well, they're actually going to be busting out a Sombra of their own in the form of Monica. You know, Monica, clearly good on Tracer. Let's see how good they are on Sombra as well.
Yeah, just scouting out a little bit. Looking for someone to punish. And this could combo very, very well with Excellence Discord Orb. Especially if you hack up this Sigma, for instance. Literally no defensive abilities, not a lot of health, just will get completely demolished with a Discord and a hack on top of him. And so far, it does seem like Regen are looking to back off. They don't want to keep the positioning they already had, but AJ, you know, it happens. It's happened before, it'll happen again.
He's maybe not having the best of times here, but I want to see AJ being used almost as a distraction and allowing the rest of the team to come around here. Haven, finding that pick onto Akiv is actually really important now. You can see Regen, they're happy to just back off here and give them that space. Still on this defense, it's looking pretty pesky for them. AJ, he's already back into the fight, but trying to play a little bit more together with the team this time. Looking for a long flank to try and get them out of this high ground, but to varying degrees of success. Meanwhile, today has just been holding the ground like a rock. Akiv is back into the fight, and Monica finding some picks. That's going to really help Gaia out, both Eski and Green, and now Haven finds Pink. He's also got the Dragons online as well, so this, I would expect this to be point number 1 here as today falls down.
Yeah, easy as that. Monica swapping over to the Echo, doesn't quite feel the Sombra anymore, and completely pops off. I feel like Monica's been pretty quiet on the Echo for most of this match. He has played it a lot of times, but now suddenly he is really popping off. Already has a duplicate online, even with the late swap. So things are looking good for Gaia here as they continue to push forward, but Ski Coops building up to that EMP. It could be crucial. It could completely shut them down. But even with a pick on the Baptiste, that is big.
Yeah, Haven right now keeping this alive for Gaia.
This guy's been absolutely nuts.
He really has. Not even on the Tracer this time, but that's absolutely no problem. Gaia feeling very comfortable.
I won't say it was completely nuts on the Tracer. He had a good performance, but this Hanzo has completely leveled up the entire team. And look at that!
Ooh.
During the EMP, they get the 2 picks, and then Excellent comes in with the Trance.
Yeah, that was a lot of ultimates being invested by Regen, but they got nothing to show for them. Meanwhile, Gaia using their ultimates It's got everything to show for it. They're trying to sweep things up right now, but it is just green. We're going to be seeing the amplification matrix come in from pink, just trying to add in damage and keep everybody alive. Whoa! SkiCoop's falling extremely low. Is going to be able to get healed up here. Pink's doing a great job of getting it, but yes, just like you said, that's going to be Gaia able to get that point, and now they've only got 1 point to go and 5 minutes to do so.
Gaia had to win that. They committed pretty much everything except for Fiddle's bomb. And I think the only reason they didn't do that was because he was out of mech. They wanted that point bad, and it is working out for them. Over 4.5 minutes just to cap this last point. It's looking fantastic. They really seem to have figured out exactly how Regen play, and they have their number now.
Absolutely. We're going to be seeing the aggression coming in on this archway, but it's going to be Fiddle dropping the self-destruct into the line too. SkiCoop's today. Fallen down. Akiv's Bob not in this fight anymore either. And now this is going to be AJ just going into that back line and harassing things. He doesn't have a pesky little Sombra pesking him this time. He's already built up the mines, but look at all of these things coming through.
4 minutes.
4 minutes, Spooky. 4 minutes.
They figured it out. They really have. And I want to make a note here while we're praising Gaia. I know we have been talking a lot about AJ potentially getting hacked, getting destroyed, getting demolished, but I really want to make the point that he is not playing badly at all. No. Especially on these last couple maps. I think there's a case, the first couple maps he was overextending, potentially not quite playing with his team, and getting punished for that. But now he has really figured out exactly what he wants to do. He's enabling his team very well. He's completely harassing Regen, and it is working out for them so well. The difference in these last couple maps specifically, it really seems like something like the switch just flipped on Anubis, and Gaia have figured out exactly what Regen want to play, regardless of the comp, and they just know exactly how to punish it as well. And I do think Haven's Hanzo is a very large part of this.
I agree. AJ, hey, when he's allowed to actually play Overwatch, he's doing a pretty good job, honestly. I think now that he's playing a little bit more back and letting the rest of the team do a lot of the heavy lifting, well, Regen don't really know what to do. And then by the time that AJ enters into the fight, well, they don't have their stuns anymore. They don't have their Sombra to hack him up and get him out of the fight because they're too busy dealing with everybody else. But they're sticking to their guns once more, bringing the ball out once again on defense.
Yeah, let's see. I would love to see if AJ can get a boop into the water here. I really doubt it. He's probably just going to go for a little pile driver and get out of here. But again, some respect coming in from Regen. They realize they can't play the Sombra comps anymore. They decided to go into the Hanzo mirror. But this should just open up AJ even more.
Yep.
That's really, Gaia is forcing Regen to decide who they want to counter. And it's not working out anymore. They cannot just double counter the Tracer ball like they were able to before. They have to pick and choose, and they have not been able to do it well.
Yep, they really haven't. SkiCoop's caught out of position right now and getting capitalized on, but they are able to get the D-mech on Fiddle. Fiddle going for a little bit of a swim there, and well, now Regen are looking pretty healthy to be able to move this one forwards today, leading the charge here. They're getting pressured on from all sides, but it's not too big of a deal for them because, well, they're on the point right now, and nobody is coming down to stall them out, Spooky.
Yeah, it's almost like we talked about this before. Yeah, this is composition of these balls, especially without a Tracer. This is one of the few problems you have swapping off Tracers. It's much harder to touch point. It's really only the ball. The Sigma can get on there, but he'll just die, as we can kind of see happening. But it's really just the ball who can hold the point. So what Gaia really want to do is they want to hold points close to their spawn. I don't think it's going to be the point A here, especially with that dragon coming through. But potentially at the end of point B, where they don't actually have to fight on point, that would be very good for them. Stalling it out somewhere on point B and being able to play this harassing style while Regen are pushing their way forward. That's what they want. But if Regen are able to stay on point, if Gaia can't dislodge them, the point's just going to keep moving. It's going to be a repeat of King's Row earlier.
Yeah, and well, SkiCoop's on this Hanzo pick has been honestly instrumental for Regen's success right now. He's getting so much value out of these arrows and scouting things out. I really like this swap, Spooky.
Yeah, and he seems to be matching Haven pretty well. Both of these players seem very, very comfortable on the Hanzo. The one pick potential, the shield damage, but that is a Dragon Strike coming out from. Look how quickly they follow up on that.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got the speed for it. Excellent, just doing excellent things. Throw in those Zen Orbs, and, well, that's going to completely dismantle Regen's offense here. And now they've got to reset, but they do have a lot of ultimates online.
Yeah, but they do have to get into position to use them. Getting across this bridge is going to be tough. But Marks, Haven switches over to the Tracer. He doesn't want to play the Hanzo mirror anymore. He wants to punish the long-range DPS. But I feel like if Regen make a couple of swaps, it might just be a repeat of what we saw earlier.
Ooh, Haven falling extremely low, but right now with that supercharger, they're more than happy to move this one forwards. We saw the duplicate come out as well, but Monica not able to get too much value out of that one. Just kind of has to fall back here, and now Regen are in a great position to roll things forward. They dislodge Catatrix, throw in the dragons for good measure, and a Transcendence used by Excellent to keep the rest of the members alive. Probably should have waited on that one, didn't know where Regen was, but now Regen, they've got a lot of ground here. AJ back into the fight. It's waiting for Haven to come in here as well so they can get their dive style going once again. Now we're going to be seeing it go, but an Amplification Matrix as well as a Rally, that's both support ults. That is going to be extremely dangerous for them to push into. You can see AJ and Haven really respecting that distance, keeping things far, but you know who's popping off right now? It's who else but Ski Coops, and he's just making this one look easy. A true professional lineup coming in from here, him and Akiv, honestly. And hey, Regen, they've got just as healthy of a time tag as Gaia did on that attack.
Yeah, no, Gaia really don't have any ultimates. Akiv has the Bob. And once again, we're going to see more swaps coming out from Gaia. They seem to be put on the back foot a little bit. They don't know exactly what they want to play into this double shield comp. How to dislodge it. They're still trying to figure it out. But the swaps coming through mean they have basically no ultimates to work with. And they're going to face down a Bob and a Dragon. Not the best ultimates in the game, but not the worst either. And could definitely earn them this third cap. And AJ down again. Caught out position, but it's traded.
That's true. Ski Coop falling down. That's going to shut down the Dragon potential that could have came in. And Haven finding a key. Well, that's going to be the rest of the push. You can see right now Regen just trying to get out of there, but unable to do so as Gaia finally stopped them.
Yeah, and that's some crucial time to start building up their ultimates as well. All the heroes they swap to are halfway to their ultimates at least. Excellent has a trance, AJ's gonna get the mines up, and now suddenly they can start cycling these. And Haven is so good, man. Haven is absolutely popping off. Like, never put this guy on Tracer again. This Hanzo is something else.
This is what we needed from Haven. He is pretty good on Tracer, don't get me wrong, but his Hanzo game right now has just been unbelievable, Spooky.
Yeah, phenomenal. Absolutely. Now the ult's online for Gaia, as well as for Regen. I think we're going to Fiesta coming forward as all of these come online. But still, I'm not sure anything can break Excellent's Transcendence if he feels like he needs to use it. And he has been very good about the timing of those most of the time.
He really has. We're going to be seeing all of the ultimates come online right now. The Bob finding Catatrix, but Haven's just ready to trade things back. He's already built up to his dragons as well. Right now, this push has been absolutely stopped, and well, that was a couple of ultimates that did get forced out of Regen, and no ground for it.
Yeah, you traded a supercharger and a Bob and a Dragon, I suppose, for a Valkyrie and Mines. That is a trade Gaia will take every day of the week. They still keep their most impactful ultimates. Pink comes in with the Amplification Matrix, but stalled by this Dragon and Haven!
Haven.
He is nuts, dude. He is not even giving Regen time to breathe, much less use an Amplification Matrix. Look at it, he won't stop!
He can't stop Sugi. I'm pretty sure it is written in his DNA right now to just pop off on Hanzo and punish Regen no matter which way they come from.
Almost single-handedly cleaning up that team fight. Haven on this Hanzo. He's about to win the map. He's about to win the map. He's about to win the match. There's 1 minute for Regen to get going. They've been completely stalled out, and a lot of it is just this guy just hitting his shots. He's feeling it through the ether marks. He's got the votes. He's got the vibes.
He got the positive vibes. Shout out to everybody watching who voted for Haven here. Excellent, getting pressured down quite a bit, but Monica now going to be going and duplicating the Sigma. It's going to be another supercharger, or not a supercharger, sorry. It's just going to be a grab online coming in from both sides of the teams. Monica finding a lot of ground up there, but once again, Haven just kind of coming in here and cleaning things up alongside Monica. And well, hey, not looking too good for Regen anymore.
Yeah, and Gaia's positioning is getting so good. Monica being able to set up behind the team with the duplicate, just peppering them from every single side is what they want to do. Hey, are you?
He was just doing so well.
Corner.
You phased out of existence.
I cannot hype up this guy enough. He has just completely turned it on. Just absolutely fantastic, especially on this last map. Regen have one more chance. They have some ultimates. They have the Bob. They have the Supercharger. Skikoops has to land a big pulse bomb. But he whiffs it. He doesn't quite find it. It's just getting harder and harder, especially with the trance coming through.
Yeah, and now the Twin Dragons are going to be coming through. Haven has just been in this exact same spot, and it hasn't been punished for it just quite yet. Skikoo's trying to do something, but gonna just find an arrow. Gets William Telled. And, well, not much you can do right now. The Respawners advantage also favoring Gaia, but this is just the DPS show right now between Haven and Monica. Monica just a menace on the back line, and, well, this is looking not too good for
and
Regen.
That's a sweep.
And that's
it's not too good. They're in the loser bracket, Mark. Gaia took Gaia with a complete reverse sweep, run away with this one, and it's so many different standout players one by one. You know, excellent on Anubis, then Haven coming up huge on the Hanzo, and just the rest of the team. If they just click, it was like you're trying to put together a puzzle for the first two pieces, and like you're like, okay, this piece doesn't go here, and be like, we don't want to put the ocean in the sky, even though they're the same color of blue for some reason. But now it's finally, they figured it out. They put all the puzzle pieces together, and it just worked perfectly for them. I cannot praise them enough. That was an insane turnaround.
Yeah. Once they figured out what was working for them, and, well, hey, it looked so good. Regen looked so powerful against Gaia on our first two maps, but you could tell that was just giving Gaia the opportunity to figure out what types of compositions they actually like the most. And, well, like you said, Spooky, it really worked out. But, hey, everybody, I hope you put your MVP votes down below in the poll, because whoever won MVP is going to be joining us in the booth soon. But right now, Regen just lost to Gaia 3-2, unfortunately, and so Regen is going to be going down to the losers bracket, while Gaia, they get to keep their nice clean slate of no losses whatsoever. And that's crazy, Spooky. That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. They're one of two teams to go undefeated. Gaia going up against Andy's Daycare in the final match of the main bracket. The winner of that match will go directly to grand finals. So Gaia, just a single win away from getting into the grand finals of the Overwatch All-Star Brawls. But still, Andy's Daycare is a hard opponent to go
They're
up
also
against.
undefeated.
They're also undefeated, exactly. I am super excited for that match. That one is going to be a banger, a showstopper, because Gaia have figured it out. I'm just so impressed by this team sticking to their guns the entire way through, making small adjustments and managing to make it work. Just brilliant play coming out from Gaia. I cannot say enough. Regen, still, I'm so happy these guys aren't out. Akiv and Skikoops had some brilliant performances. Honestly, the whole team really seemed to be playing well, and it just eventually got turned around on Anubis as Gaia kind of found their stride. But I'm happy that Regen are not out. They're just going down to losers bracket, and I'm sure they'll rack up a couple more wins there. Potentially, we could even see the rematch, because I'm sure Regen are fired up after getting reverse swept. That is rough. Luckily, you can channel that energy into more motivation, because they're not out yet.
That's
they
true.
definitely don't want to get reverse swept out of the tournament entirely. So Regen, I'm just expecting them to come back even stronger. So both teams, phenomenal performance. I am psyched.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of criticized Gaia for sticking to their guns there, but, you know, they rearranged everything just to make the picture fit together. So big shout out to them, because it was looking so phenomenal for them, especially too on those last three maps. They just looked like they were in control of everything, and they were able to successfully counter Regen's kind of strange composition. Honestly, it wasn't what most teams would usually run, but I guess today really was comfortable on that Orisa, and you could see that was what they were bringing to the match.
Yeah, really, Regen showed a number of different looks. They all looked quite good, honestly. They did have a Rialto didn't quite go their way, but on a lot of the other maps, they did have a very strong performance. especially Anubis. I mean, honestly, if Excellent hadn't popped off on Anubis, we'd only be like, that would have been a 3-0. I'm pretty sure. Regen really started strong on that map as well.
Yeah.
But we are still waiting for the MVP poll to come through. And I just want to remind you, if you are not following the channel, to go ahead and do so. We also have a Discord server where you'll be able to find all of the information, as well as the YouTube and the Twitter, to give that a subscribe and a follow respectively as well, just to keep up with all the Overwatch All-Star Brawl. This tournament is going all the way through September, and it's only the 15th. They're only halfway through, so there's a lot more to play, and both of these teams have a lot more to show because neither are out yet. So if you enjoyed what you saw today and want to make sure you catch Regen or Gaia later in the month, make sure to give us a follow. We definitely appreciate it. And you guys get to see even more great Overwatch. So really, it's a win-win. I do believe, Marcus, I believe we have our MVP. He should be joining into the voice call just momentarily. And I'm not upset at all with this pick.
No, me neither. Our MVP is actually going to be Akiv. And, well, you know, when you think about what Akiv was able to accomplish on the Cowboy, honestly, makes sense to me. Absolute pop-off moments coming through from Akiv. And so I think that this is a very fair choice for an MVP here.
Yeah, Akiv absolutely popping off, not only on the hit scan with the Cowboy, but also on the Tracer as well. I do believe Akiv is here in the booth with us. Akiv, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
All right, well. Hello, Akiv, and welcome to the Casters booth. You know, me and Spooky, we were very impressed with your performance, and honestly, the performance of Regen tonight. You guys, you know, especially after that very first round on our very first map on Kings Row, things were looking a little bit rough, but you kind of pulled it all together, and things are starting to look out. And you know, I do think that you had a lot of amazing performances there, but who do you think on your team was really holding things together, especially right after that first round?
For the first two maps, I think the main thing that won us those was just CC. Like, that's it.
Crowd control.
The reason they won was because they switched spam, and when they weren't, they were just inting into us. We were stunning Kree, Brig, Sombra. There's just nothing they could do.
Yeah,
but they adapt, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, it was looking very great for you for those first two maps. Unfortunately, you know, Regen, it's tough, you know, coming off a loss, coming off the reverse, taking that reverse sweep. But luckily, you guys are not out of the tournament just yet. You're going down to the losers bracket. Is there anything you think you've learned from this match? Anything you think you're going to use moving forward? Maybe some kind of motivation. How do you think your team will perform going down to losers bracket?
I think we need to just counter adapt, if that makes sense. Like, they started using a different play style, and we just like kept thinking the same thing would work, and lo and behold, it didn't. I think we can do well in losers bracket. You know, anything is possible at any point, as you just saw. So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, you know, kind of weird compositions coming out from Gaia there. And obviously you guys were trying your best to adapt, but unfortunately you are going to be going down to the losers bracket, but you're not out of the tournament yet. And well, is there anybody on your team that you'd like to give a special shout out to?
Today for getting 0 elims on night market.
Fantastic.
We still won.
Oh, the BM, love it.
Absolutely love it. Today you were there on night market. Congratulations. You get a participation trophy. All right, Akiv, I just have one final question for you. Since Gaia won and you guys are only knocked down to the loser bracket, there is a potential that you guys will replay this team later in Overwatch All-Star Brawl. If this rematch comes to show, tell me what the scoreline's going to be.
It's gonna be 3-0 Regen.
3-0 Regen. I absolutely love the confidence.
I'm right.
Honestly, you guys played a fantastic game. I had the time of my life watching and casting, and you guys have so much potential. I am sure you will be able to bring it back to Gaia later. I'm sure the VOD review for this match is going to teach your team a lot of things, get you to just a level where you will be quite unstoppable in the losers bracket. So really, congratulations, you did a fantastic job, and I cannot wait to see Regen just tear it up in losers because I want to see this rematch.
Okay, well, thank you, Aki, for joining us for the interview, and congratulations on winning MVP once again. But that is going to do it for us tonight. Well, in the All-Star Brawl, we had Regen going up against Gaia. Both of these teams were undefeated before the match today, but Gaia winning it out 3-2. Just goes to show you how, in a reverse sweep too. I'd like to remember that because that was kind of crazy. Crazy adaptation coming in from Gaia, and Regen unfortunately not able to respond. Just missing it by a little bit, despite showing plenty of signs of life towards that last map. But this has been casted by myself, Marks, and Spooky, and you can find me on Twitter at Marcus_Wong3. And Spooky, what's your Twitter?
You can find me at SpookyCasts. Maybe eventually I'll change it to at ScuffedCaster until I can figure out how to stay through an entire match with a camera on and everything. But yeah, so you can follow me at SpookyCasts if you want more of this dry wit and humor, as well as learning when both me and Marks will be on casts. We frequently cast together, so if you enjoyed it, give us a couple of follows.
Yeah, and of course, if you enjoyed what you saw tonight, make sure you are following Star Esports, this channel specifically, because the All-Star Brawl is still underway. You know, we now know that Gaia are going to be going up against Andy's Daycare. Both of these teams have been undefeated up until now. So as soon as you follow the channel, you're going to get notified when that game comes live. And with that, Spooky, you got any last words for us?
No, just fantastic game, and I can't wait to see more later in the tournament.
All right, well, thank you for tuning in to Regen versus Gaia tonight, and have a good night, everybody.